Jason, it's great to see you. Congratulations on being the recipient of the Peter Smith Award for you and the West Indies team. If I could, I'd like you to have a listen to the citation which the awards committee has put together. Holder led a trailblazing tour party that flew into the unknown at the height of the COVID crisis in the UK, from the relative safety of the Caribbean. As the first sports team to enter a bio bubble, they showed great forbearance, holed up in 2 hotels for 7 weeks, and were instrumental in rescuing the international summer for cricket lovers and the ECB. Holder also conducted himself with grace on and off the field, speaking eloquently on race and racism and the need for education and unity during a period of turbulence precipitated by the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. They're the reasons. Jason, what do you make of it?
Well, first of all, it's an honor to receive this award. West Indies cricket has a rich tradition, and a rich tradition of both on and off the field memories. And, for us, it was important to go up to England, not only to save cricket per se, but, to put the world at ease, I believe. I think COVID has definitely left a damper on the world, and, we needed to find ways to pick ourselves back up. And it was great that ECB could put on the tour and facilitate a tour in the magnitude that they did. I think a lot of credit must be given to the ECB for their hard work, and I think they've done an excellent job in creating a really biosecure bubble, one that was safe, one that was well organized, and the players' safety was kept at best. So, yeah, credit to them. But again, being the recipient of this award, I can't take credit for it. As the entire West Indies cricket should definitely take a pat on the back for this award, because it was a maximum team effort, so thanks once again.
Yeah, we're really pleased to be able to give it to you. Is awareness, do you think, of race and subconscious bias, is that being maintained enough? It was obviously very evident when you guys first came to the UK. What's your feeling on the conversation now?
Quite interesting, man. I actually was following a little bit of what Mikey Holding was saying regarding the Pakistan and Australia tours, which preceded ours. It's difficult. It's difficult to get people to see the importance of it, and that's where the education has to keep being filtered through. I think it's really impossible that people understand where we as Black people are coming from, and understand the harsh reality of how the world is set up, and there are inequalities out there. Some of them are very much in our faces, and some of them are done discreetly, but there are inequalities, and I think it's just a level of education, as I always said. And I personally was a bit disappointed to see how the Pakistan and Australia tours had went on after us, and they're not showing their solidarity afterwards. But yeah, it's a long debate, it's a long, hard challenge, it's a long road. And I think we as people, we just need to continue to come together, put our minds together, and genuinely find ways to fix the inequalities in the world. As I said, it's not an overnight fix. This is something that is going to be ongoing for maybe a number of years. But I think the most important thing, and the message that needs to be push home, is that we need to come together. We need to see each other as all equal human beings, and treat each other that way, and more or less be your brother's keeper in this world.
You're now at the IPL, which is a big mix of international cricketers, some of whom are obviously playing in those series after your team left the UK. Have you had a chance to open conversations with them about the reasonings for declining to take the knee, for example? And at the time, teams sort of reiterated their commitment to anti-racism and to equality. But how are conversations going amongst players at the IPL? Are conversations happening?
To be honest, I haven't had one conversation up here around it. Sometimes it seems as though it's gone unnoticed, which is a sad thing. I guess it's, again, for us to re-highlight, the importance of it, and for people just to understand what is happening in the world. I guess too, COVID has definitely shook the world as well, and that has obviously caused a lot of tension. There's suddenly a lot of tension on the elections in America as well too. But for me, I think once certain things are handled, you could then be able to continue to write home the message. But for us, particularly as Black people in the Caribbean, a Black dominant society, it is for us to continue the education. I don't think it's stopped. Cricket West Indies have done an excellent job in continuing the awareness of it. The women had a series in England afterwards, and they wore Black Lives Matter on their jerseys as well, and they pushed the movement as well. So I think it has been ongoing, and I think, again, credit must be given to Cricket West Indies. They've thrown their support 100% behind it, and they continue to raise awareness around the movement. So hopefully that could stretch throughout the entire world, and more territories and nations can understand the importance of it.
The other element, of course, of the Peter Smith Award for the Cricket Writers Club is the bio bubble, as you've alluded to. How sustainable do you feel that is? You've done a quarantine in Dubai for the IPL. You've got a tour to New Zealand coming up as well. How are you all feeling about this aspect of COVID? Quite
frankly, I'm getting a little tired and frustrated of the bubbles. It is hard, but when we put everything into context, it is probably the only option. It's probably the only option for us to have cricket safely. And it is hard. It is harder mentally. Because it takes a toll on your mental health, and that's for me the most challenging aspect of it. I never once have been indoors so much in my entire life, and it's a challenge. We're outdoor. There are people where we do a sport outdoors, we train outdoors, and more often than not, we spend, I would say, 70% a day outdoors. So to be held indoors, locked up in a room, confined in a hotel, has been really difficult and challenging. But if you take that into the context, then it's practically impossible to have cricket safely on. And many people around the world have been shot by COVID. Job loss percentages have definitely risen. We don't want to be, a part of that. So in order to have cricket, we've got to make sacrifices. And it's all part of being an international athlete as well too. But yeah, back-to-back bubbles hasn't been easy. And then potentially now I'm going to be having a fourth bubble after this. So let's hope that COVID could settle down and we can find a vaccination or a cure for it as quickly as possible that we can all rely on, and hopefully the world could get back to some kind of normalcy.
Do you think cricket has its eye on the psychological impact of quarantines in terms of the support that you guys are getting as players?
I think now it's becoming a little bit more highlighted, and a little bit more focus is going into it. And it's more than money. It's more than money for commercial rights and commercial reasoning, but mental health definitely plays a serious part of the entire scheme of things. And now that cricket is back up and running, you can practically say full time. More territories now are finding their means within their resources to have biosecure bubbles, and more than likely you're going to be going from one series to another like usual, and a lot of places now could be going from one bubble to another. So I think more creative ways have to come into play into keeping the sanity of players and keeping their mental health intact. Hopefully this can happen sometime soon, and we can have a little bit more freedom and a little bit more activity to keep the mental health of players, intact.
Jason, we wish you best of luck for the rest of your time in the IPL, for the New Zealand tour as well, with all of that. And we're really thrilled to be able to recognise you and the West Indies team in this way through the Cricket Writers Club. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot, Alison, and to the Cricket Writers Club, thank you so much again for offering this award. And hopefully Cricket West Indies and West Indians by extension can continue to wave their flag high and continue to make these positive contributions to cricket.